am Doomsvince, and this is day 73 of Spawn Year.
The future. It's on my mind a lot. Really, it's my driving motivation. Everything I do here is in anticipation of, hopefully, a brighter future. And I find myself thinking about Spawn's future. The image I saw when I was in the open grave keeps flashing in my mind. It haunts me. I wish I could shake it, but I think about it all the time. If only I had left well enough alone. Today I got another glimpse of the future of Spawn, hundreds of years after Al. The first issue of Curse of the Spawn, the first concurrent monthly running alongside the main title, depicts the time of the apocalypse, when heaven and hell are waging an epic battle and the whole earth is transformed into a second hell, a hunting ground for demons and monsters. The first page evokes Revelation, which would have been more effective if it hadn't spelled out the reference. It's talking about the four horsemen of the apocalypse. I get it. That's from Revelation. We're taken on a tour through future Earth, where humans are either being hunted or eaten, or they're in hiding, where the sky is always gray, and we're introduced to the most common of creatures who hunt humans, the nightmares. How appropriate. One of the more interesting images is the anti-pope, who reigns over New Vatican, overseeing the destruction of mankind while mocking Christianity. It's too bad the anti-pope doesn't have a picture of the real pope's head on his hat with a slash through it. I wonder when his name will be changed to the Irredeemer. We're very briefly introduced to a mother and her son, so briefly that I didn't even realize I was looking at the story's central characters until the new Spawn is finally born at the end and he rescues them. Madrid protects her son Matthew with a electro-cannon she stole, which a narration box says is called a spanner. Right, because electro-cannon is such a common term. Thanks for being more specific. She fights off a nightmare who's got his own electro-cannon sprouting right out of his chest. I bet that makes it hard to drive, and she attacks without fear or hesitation. I wonder if she'll become this world's John Connor. I'd say Sarah Connor, except she's in the future already and her son's with her and... oh, never mind. The electro-cannon or spanner or whatever isn't enough when they're hunted by a truly terrifying monstrosity with tubes and vials sticking out all over him. I bet those make it impossible to drive. He lives off bodily fluids of people and has the ability to drain them totally dry. A big deal is made about this, and the idea seems to be that the dead feed on life. The world has become an evil place, and evil begets more evil. This top-heavy abomination is called the Desiccator. Wait, he doesn't have a huge protruding lower jaw like Violator and his brothers. How did he get an ore name? And why didn't Alan Moore think of that one when he was coming up with demon names in the Violator miniseries? Desiccator sounds way better than Vacillator or Vandalizer. So a new Hellspawn rises! Conveniently in exactly the same place Madrid and Matthew were about to be desiccated, and he saves them, the only demon willing to entertain the notion of mercy. But first, we get a 2-page flashback to his origin. No dragged-out amnesia BS for Daniel Lanzo here, just straightforward flashback. His dad beat up his mother and his sister all the time, while they were barely making ends meet working on a trailer on the moon. Yeah, the moon, because it's the future. So Daniel killed his father. The end. That sounds vaguely familiar. Oh yeah, it's almost the identical story of the kid in issue 29, except his dad had a good job, his mother was dead, and they didn't live on the moon. I guess he probably won't be a Spawn because of that pointless 400-year rule this book's still running with, so Bulgy, if it is Bulgy, went with a contemporary kid now who killed his own father because, to paraphrase System of a Down, he wanted to! There is no mention of Malbolgia here, but this Spawn still has the big M on his chest. And everything with this Spawn is in bone, because if Terminator taught us anything, it's that bleak, hopeless futures are always more frightening when they're skinless skeletons with glowing eyes running around. If it is Bulgy, he's finally learned his lesson about getting to the point. No wandering around feeling sorry for himself, writing notes on walls, and solving problems with manila envelopes for 50 issues. Look, he's already got the visage of death! I wouldn't be surprised if he had the black heart of death and the mark, I can't help it, of death already as well. But if hell has already taken Earth, Why does it need a single Spawn? Just for the sake of tradition? Why not send all those guys in Spawn suits you had down there that we know are in hell, now that you don't need a leader for when the war starts? The issue ends with Spawn recognizing Madrid and freaking out. To be continued. Like a lot of Spawn, this issue is concerned with pictures over story, which would be more okay if there weren't so many words telling you what you can see with your own two eyes. I thought McFarlane's books were overwritten. Alan McElroy's writing makes a McFarlane issue look like a Pink Panther cartoon. If I had reviewed this yesterday, I never would have beaten the clock. There's a long letter from McFarlane in the back, where he talks about handpicking McElroy because he's writing the movie and the HBO series, and he gets Spawn. That actually makes sense. His book is also overwritten and spends more time describing panels than developing characters. But it's not bad. I enjoyed it. Dwayne Turner's gothic pictures and frantic panel layouts are refreshingly unusual, and the whole thing's a nice change of pace for me. Besides, despite everything I've been through in the last few days, there's no way my future is as bad as this one. At least I hope not. Signed, Captain Logan.